the urban setting. You know, we've been fighting this in New Mexico. And I had to stand before groups of tribal leaders and some of our own people, and I said, the fact that my brother or my sister lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because they choose to do so, does that make that person any less Indian, any less okay? I think not. But we've also been accustomed by the federal government to think in that way and say, if you're not living on the Indian land base, if you're not living on your Indian nation's land base, you're not going to be counted because you're going to be labeled as urban Indian. And that's not good. But we've played that part, ladies and gentlemen. We played that part because when it comes to funding, they drilled that into us and say, if you're not part of they call us res, if you're not part of the res, you're not going to be counted. And so you're not going to get any funding. That's why the urban setting has not been funded over years and years and years, and there's been a lot of neglect. But we kind of bought into that. And when I first ran for first vice president of NCAI, that was one of the statements that I made. I said, our brothers and sisters who live in the cities, well, where were they born? And who do they come from? Who are they a part of? They are part of us. We must provide for them just as we do for our people back on our land base. Because if we don't, they will continue to draw that wedge deeper and deeper. And there may come a point when we cannot survive as two separates. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if we don't let it happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's the strong part. We always talk about unity. We always talk about solidarity. We always talk about strength. One thing we have forgotten in this country is that Indian people and the Indian spirit has lived on, but we've forgotten about that spirit. Why? It's because of the teachings of the dominant society. And our rush for us to learn that system, we've forgotten about our ways. I use this diagram about a pendulum swing. Pendulum swing goes like this. And so in our ways, we used to be on the spiritual side, on our Indian nation side, who we are, what we stand for, what our people are all about. And the dominant society is over here on this other side, teaching their ways, the Indian policy, all of those things that they've impressed upon us. You know, the termination, the removal, the what do they call that when they transplant you from res to the city? Relocation. All those things are part of this effort. And the intent was to kill us off. I don't care what anybody says. That was the intent. To control and to take everything that belonged to us. And that place was the land. But even further than that was to take our spirit. And they were doing very well. But I've seen a revival. I've seen this revival strong and true and powerful. Let's continue to work together. Let's continue to stay strong. Let's continue to build coalitions. And I, as one person, have committed to the effort at NCAI. But correct me if I'm wrong, is that every one of the board members committed to this. And a sign is the fact that I'm here today, even though I have to suffer to get here. That's part of life. And so, nothing comes without sacrifice. But the fact still remains that we are strong, we remain strong, and we are not going to fade away. And there's a song that goes, and someday when the world is gone, the